Thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm just in awe. I'm having a hard time even starting. Anyways, hello everyone, bonjour and kwe. I am honored to be here with you for this international roundtable on education, children's rights, and the Sustainable Development Goals. It is the heart of what I believe in. I'm joining you today from Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji Cree, Dakota, Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. Today, we are celebrating International Literacy Day. This day reminds us that learning to read and write is a basic human right. And children, through the UN Convention, hang on. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. Of the rights of the child have that right highlighted through this international agreement on childhood. This convention has become the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history and has helped transform children's lives around the world. But still, not every child enjoys those rights. The pandemic has created a world crisis in education and reminds us how quickly rights can be taken away. This past year, more than 1.6 billion children and youth in 188 countries, over 90% of the world's student population were affected by school closures. This situation is unprecedented in the history of education. UNESCO responded by launching the COVID-19 Global Education Coalition to help countries reach at-risk children and youth. It is also monitoring school closures, developing distance learning solutions and recommendations, and has come up with other responses, including technical assistance, international partnerships, and regional responses in areas like Latin America and Asia Pacific. UNESCO stands for the United Nations Education Scientific Culture Organization. This important UN organization was created after World War II to help rebuild the world's education system and safeguard culture in all its forms. Since its creation, UNESCO works for world peace, and its activities are guided by the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Canadian Commission for UNESCO carries out UNESCO work in Canada. Working on an inclusive and intergenerational manner is a priority for us. We view children and youth as key partners. We recognize that the concerns and worldviews of children and youth should help shape both our present and our future. We therefore include youth in all that we do. Through our youth advisory group, young people from across Canada are involved in our events and initiatives. Their involvement helps us mainstream youth leadership and integrate youth perspectives into the Canadian Commission's activities. We also have a UNESCO school network that is across Canada, where teachers and school administrators are committed to take action in their local community on global issues that impact all our lives on our shared planet. At the Commission, we have seen the positive impact children and youth can give when given a voice. I cannot stress that point enough. For example, members of our youth advisory group developed youth engagement toolkit for national commissions that encourage youth around the world to engage more directly with their own UNESCO national commissions. It highlights the importance of sharing promising practices and lessons learned when it comes to intergenerational dialogue among young people of civil society and governing institutions. This toolkit was launched at the last UNESCO General Conference and has since been used by youth and national commissions around the world. We have now fully entered the decade of action. A reminder that 2030 is less than 10 years away. And when it comes to all the 17 SDGs, this most unusual year has shifted our view on what the world can and should look like. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals will not be achieved without children and youth involved. As part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, these 17 goals are a roadmap for a more just and sustainable future. It is children and youth that will inherit the world we create today. Children and youth, therefore, have a right to be heard and a right to be part of the solutions. Children have a right to quality and inclusive education. Children have a right to live without poverty, with food, clothing, and a safe place to live. Children have the right to live in a peaceful society with reduced inequalities. Our actions need to start with engaging with children and youth. It starts with connecting children, youth, and educators from around the globe so that we can learn from one another through events such as this one. And if we do it right, if we do it right, it ends with SDG 4, education for all, with no one left behind. In closing, I would like to congratulate all the children authors participating in this event today. You are remarkable and inspiring, and we're looking forward to promoting your books in our networks. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say throughout the rest of the event. Merci, thank you, Chi Miigwech.